Okay, so this month on Anime Nomad Podcast, this is the second month, we are talking about Hyouka. And this is on my channel, as you can see, Visual Evaluations. Last month it was on the C Tactics channel, and next month it will be on Condi's?
Yes.
Yeah, I forgot if we were doing Condi or Rising next.
King's Game is my show, so,
Yeah, we're watching King's Game at the moment.
Look forward to that one. Ago. It's going to be a great time, and I'm sure everybody's on the edge of their seats, ready to watch our podcast on that.
So I guess it's a good time to now introduce everybody. First, we have Conda Fiction.
Hello, that me. I'm Internet Funny Man.
Go on, Condi.
I'm just saying I'm Internet Funny Man. It's just who I am.
Yeah, Conda Fiction C+.
Yep.
We have Rising Sun Reviews.
Hello, everybody. I like Japanese cartoons because they are fun and exploding.
How eloquent. And we have C Tactics.
The devil has come down upon us in the form of the anime bitches, and we must destroy them one by one.
It's your channel, so C doesn't care.
Yeah, okay, fair point.
Understandable. Have a nice day. We're all broke bitches.
Yep. So go subscribe to our channels and watch our videos so we can get monetized and make all that delicious YouTube money.
Yeah, subscribe to all the channels I just mentioned. They will be linked. And they are featured on my channel, I believe.
Oh, cool. You actually think we're nice people or something.
What a sweetheart.
So Hyouka just became big recently, as of the last few months, mainly because it just got licensed, even though it's a show that came out in 2012 in Japan. It got licensed by Funimation last year.
Yep. And you can watch it on their website, which we will possibly link in the description. That's actually a good idea if we do it.
Yeah, we should do that. It's directed by Yasuhiro Takemoto, who also directed Amaki Brilliant Park and Kobayashi's Dragon Maid.
Yeah, he also worked on KyoAni, I think.
Oh?
Yeah, he directed Haruhi, I think. At least part of it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Full Metal Panic as well.
Yeah.
He directed
Lucky
that.
Star, at least in part.
Fufumo.
And it's written by Shoji Gato, who I believe wrote Full Metal Panic. He was in charge of series composition, which is pretty much just being the main writer.
Yeah, I thought that was like series composition was like more the actions part of it, and script was what they said or something.
No, series composition is just like a term for like head scriptwriter, like he is in charge of the series. So the series was first a series of novels that currently consists of 6 volumes, but at the time that Hyouka was released, only 4 novels were out. And even though there are 2 novels that 2 volumes that recently came out, Hyouka is still a complete story, which is important to note. Other notable KyoAni works are Sound Euphonium, Nichijou, this season's Violet Evergarden, among many others. KyoAni's well known in the community.
Yeah, they make like pretty looking slice of life anime that I find boring, and everyone hates me when I say that.
You're actually a piece of garbage. I'm leaving. I can't be part of this podcast with you.
Yeah, like people think like Nichijou and Kobayashi are so amazing, and I'm like, I should go to bed now.
I don't know how you don't like Kobayashi. It's so funny.
Yes, it was like there's the dragon, then the explosion, then the eating tail.
Holding hands in public? Hentai.
KyoAni makes some pretty looking slice of life, so what do you guys think of the visuals of the show?
It looked like the animators got bored like once or twice every episode and added lots of cool effects for no reason, but they look cool.
Hey man, I mean, do you need any other reason besides the fact that it looks cool? Personally, I thought it was... How the show looked, I loved it. I like... Basically every KyoAni show, I love their visual style. In general, they're just wonderful. I also liked how kind of the shading and the tone of the show kind of changed with the art as the show went on. It's hard to explain. I'm kind of getting there right now.
Yeah, I did like how they had like movement and stuff in the background, just so it's not like just a couple moving characters in front of a still frame.
Yeah, I agree. The show could be very, very plain if it was just still backgrounds.
Yeah, like the story isn't always that exciting, but it still looked interesting.
Yeah.
And there's many gifable moments. I think C can vouch for that.
C?
I think C's dead.
C?
Well,
Okay.
Well, the thing that I really liked about it is the dreary kind of depressing almost tone that it had with the look of it. And I think maybe maybe the second or third episode or something like that, the color palette changes, which I think is pretty cool because it signifies that Houtarou doesn't want to live a rosy high school life. He wants to kind of close himself off from the world. He'd be kind of within his own little bubble, which I can respect that a little bit, and I understand that. And the visuals really played to that really well. I also, for like comedic kind of effects and stuff like that, I liked the episode, I think it was maybe 7 or something like that, where they go to the hot springs, and there's a lot of creative censoring of many people's body parts. I like that episode because it felt like they try to find ways to get around, not straight up just censoring, with the censor pixels or something like that. And they just, it was all natural too, and because of it, it was funny. And I really like that episode just for that. And yeah, I like in the backgrounds as well. There's fully animated people walking, and one of the early scenes of kind of like the first part of the series, you could see in the background someone just like walking along out in the schoolyard. It's a pretty funny thing to see, and it's at the same time it's impressive because how many anime studios do that? Not a lot.
Yeah, most of it, all the animation, even the good ones, are like based just on the set, like the what's in the front of the scene, not the background.
Yeah.
I also think it's worth noting the backgrounds just in general. Like maybe they're inside of the classic club's room or whatever it's called, the literature club, and you see there's just shelves and stuff like that, and it's a dirty kind of room. They don't even use maybe more than a quarter of the room, and I think that the way they made the backgrounds of the show just feel more alive. They feel almost lived in. Like there's history to the backgrounds, and on the window seal of their club room, there's like rocks, just rocks, and sometimes an episode they'll change positions because maybe someone moves them. Another thing is the little cactus on the table. I really enjoyed that.
It's a nice touch.
Yeah, the cactuses just make everything better.
But yeah, the visual style of the show is definitely important to like the tone of the show because it's a very realistic art style, specifically the background, and because the show is very as we'll find out, the show is very subtle and kind of realistic to an extent. So I think that's
it's not like they don't try to be over the top in anime or anything. They like try to play things mostly straight with that.
And the lighting's beautiful.
Lighting is probably one of the best things the series has, in my opinion, because it's just, for example, the shadows from their hair that cast onto their face. Yeah. I thought that I didn't notice it at first, but I didn't notice it because that's something that happens naturally, within the real world, and that doesn't happen a lot in anime. Like usually in anime, you get like when the hair covers the eye, you can see through the hair and see the eye.
Yeah, I don't like it when I see that. It just looks wrong.
But you don't get that from Hyouka. You get some pretty incredible detail that not even Violet Evergarden has sometimes, which is pretty crazy because Violet Evergarden came out 5 years afterwards.
Or 6 years.
Yeah.
6 years, yeah.
They seem to focus on the shadow of the hair cast a decent bit in the show sometimes. Really accentuate it. And there's a lot of reflections in the show, a lot of lens flares from the window.
Yeah, it's like a lot of the stuff you don't notice unless you're looking for it, but it just still adds to the overall mood of the show.
Yeah. One of the things, actually, Abby pointed out, maybe it was in episode 3 or 4, maybe the first episode even. It's very early on in the series. They're walking down this sidewalk,
Yeah, Satoshi
and
Houtarou.
it just got rain. It just got finished raining, and you could see the reflection of vehicles driving by in the rain, and it's kind of hard to see actually if you want to really seek it out, but
some pedestrians.
It's there, and when you see it, it's just like that's people walking by, and the reflections are cast upon on the rain that's kind of built up on the pavement, and I thought that was incredible.
It just shows the care that the studio puts into the shows.
I have a question.
Okay.
What do you guys think about the scenes in which Houtarou is explaining a mystery, or someone's explaining a mystery, and they maybe break conventional animation, and they do cool little creative little, almost like, to me, like stuff you'd see in more live action?
Yeah, to quickly comment and fill in real quick. I might reference these interviews from Sakugaboro, so check them out. They interview the head writer and the director that I mentioned earlier, and they mentioned that these mystery sequences were done in CG to almost give a flair to the series and keep the series from feeling so plain. And they just told the directors of the sequences to just be as experimental as possible.
Yeah, and I think they worked out really well just adding something to them. They're also more memorable, so what happens in the mysteries of the explanations stick with you.
Yeah.
The episode, maybe it's episode 20 or something like that, where they stick to one room, and in this whole episode they don't leave the room. That sequence where they do that crazy CG animation thing, it's nothing. It doesn't have any anime in it. The CG itself isn't anime at all. There may be some like anime characters in there, but for the most part, it's virtually all just, it looks almost something like you'd see from South Park or something like that. It's actually, but of course, much better quality. It's just, it was pretty cool to see that, and that's an example, and something that just stood out in my head of an episode that did that really well, because it was so different.
Yeah, just the whole format of the episode too, with it only being one room. It's like they didn't need anything more to tell the story that they wanted to tell there.
And they harken it back to the characters with talking about how Houtarou knows what TV show that Satoshi was watching, because they're both kind of, or especially Houtarou, he's kind of a loaf.
Yeah.
They show him under the kotatsu a lot.
Well, okay. So, visually and stylistically, what do you think this show will be most known for in that kind of department?
I would argue the visual storytelling with the change in color palette that occurs randomly throughout the series, or I guess with major story beats. Because when you have Chitanda and Houtarou meet for the first time in the cafe, like in episode 3 or 4, when she's like opening up to him, you start to see a pink hue to the scene. And whenever Irisu's praising Houtarou, there's a very oversaturated tone to the scenes. But once he finds out the betrayal of his trust that from Irisu, it starts to go back to black and white and grayer, less saturated colors. And obviously the ending, we know about there's very clear color choices made.
In my opinion, the scene that I think will always stick with me, besides the one from episode 20, and this is that whole episode, because it was just a crazy eye-opening episode, really, about how talented everyone who worked on this anime was. But episode 1, I think it's episode 1, where Chitanda, the first time she says, "I just have to know," and you kind of see like her hair entangle Houtarou, and her hair starts to bloom flowers, and it was... there's so many ways you could take that scene. Like, maybe it's Houtarou sexual awakening or whatever, but to me, that scene, it's just so iconic to me. That's what Hyouka is. Like, that whole first episode encapsulates the experience of the show.
It's like how he's getting dragged along too, even if he doesn't know like how much he's being entangled by it.
Yeah. And you can see Hotaro's face being reflected in her eyes. He has this shocked look, and you know that she's like ensnared him.
Right.
At that point.
What is your guys' favorite arc so far?
For me, it would probably be the film arc where they're trying to solve the mystery within a film.
That's kind of the first time as well we see a different kind of side of Houtarou too, which I really enjoyed.
Yeah, he really starts to get into the mystery at that part of the series.
Yeah, with a lot of the others, it's more like he's bored and just figures it out without having to try, but this one he's really trying. And when he ends up encountering difficulties or things that he doesn't expect, how it affects him.
Yeah, it's almost like when he gets hurt throughout that arc, it's like his pride. You can really tell he's being hurt by it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Because like when he gets into it.
Yeah, like when he gets the mystery wrong, like when he answers it wrong, you can definitely tell he's not happy about it. Nobody's happy with it, really. Chitanda especially, she's like, no, it's just not right. He's like, yeah. It isn't right.
Yeah, all the characters point out something wrong, and every time he seems to get a little bit annoyed or angry.
Right, and I think just that whole arc was really good with how to do a mystery, because you're like throughout all the episodes you're slowly learning more, but not just about the mystery, but all the characters too.
Yeah, it's a very simple mystery too. It's just like, I mean, I wouldn't say it's simple, but it's really just putting your shoes in the writer and.
Right.
Yeah, I would say, and that arc's also really, really funny. I think that's like something that's like not mentioned enough. How funny the show could be at times.
Yeah, there's some good comedy throughout it.
Like it's almost kind of necessary because it's so depressing.
Yeah, true.
The show can be very depressing at times because it's almost a show about like the pain of growing up.
Yeah, it was like it's going through life and not really having a purpose, and like, how do you come to accept that?
But I'll say this about that. The melancholy in this show is both depressing and almost overwhelming sometimes, but in the best ways possible. Almost kind of nostalgic. Like, when I watched this, I felt like I was missing out on something in school, you know?
Yeah, I relate to Houtarou heavily, especially during his point in his life, or at that point in my life.
I felt, when you say it's a realistic show, I think it encapsulates, even though this is a Japanese high school, I think it encapsulates pretty well the things that go on within school and the people you hang out with and how you react and how you act and just the things you do and how you think. I think that's also a very important one. Because the last 2 or 3 episodes, I mean, that's pretty much how high schoolers think.
Yeah, there's a lot of hidden depth to the characters, and the show, while we talk about how like melancholic and like almost depressing it is, it's very subtle about it. Like I never got like upset watching the show because it just felt human because there's this hidden element to every single person, every character in the show.
Yeah, but it's not like they're not like overblown saying, here's all the information about the characters. It's more like presenting it slowly over time.
Yeah.
A good example of this is Hotarou's sister. They never show her face.
Wait, I'm pretty sure they did at one point.
No, they didn't.
They didn't?
Well, there you go.
Well, yeah, she's there, but maybe they didn't show her face.
Well, I know she was in the OVA.
Right.
Which the OVA is awful. But
that wasn't a good OVA.
I enjoyed that OVA.
I know she was in there.
I think it fills this important gap because you have Houtarou failing after the film arc, and he kind of goes back to his more closeted lifestyle, where you can tell he's just home all day, and he hasn't seen Satoshi or Chitanda, and it's Satoshi who calls him. Well, first he gets a job, but then Satoshi decides to come over, and it kind of just like doing this again with his friends, like breaks him out of that shell again.
Yeah, it's like he's forced back into it.
Yeah.
I didn't like the fan service. I disliked it. It didn't need to be there.
Yeah, to your point. I'm not a fan service guy either, but I thought it was very minor. Like it wasn't. The fan service wasn't gross.
Yeah, and I like the fan service just because the direction got out to sea, so I don't know how much that should count.
Yeah, watching that OVA with someone makes it different.
Exactly.
But What do you guys think of the festival arc? Which is like the main arc of the
that's
show.
my favorite arc.
Yeah, I would
That's
agree.
my favorite.
Yeah,
arc.
same.
Yeah.
I love the whole thing where Houtarou is collecting things, where he gets like a water gun, a hand mirror, and by the end he has this
flower.
This flower. Yeah, and it comes in use by the very end of the arc, and it's
it's just like all these random things end up playing into each other.
Yeah, they had that running gag
that.
over like 4 or 5 episodes.
Yeah, it was like never the focus, so they could keep repeating it without it getting stale.
Yeah, it happened like once an episode or twice an episode. Like the object changed, and you never realized that it'd be important.
Also, when the mystery itself unfolds and you figure out
Yes.
how they got to sell those books, and I always wondered, how did they sell that first stack of books? And by the end, you know where that first stack of books went. And it's such a sly scheme that's like one of the best things Houtarou did in that show, in my opinion.
Because I think the episode starts with like 30 books still being left. I mean, the episode and the penultimate episode of the arc ends with 30 books left, but then the episode starts with them all being gone.
Right.
And the shots of Houtarou like explaining the mystery to when he figured it out are so cool. There's so many sweeping camera shots and zooming out on his face.
Also, in that arc, there's this scene that I really loved, and a lot of people probably loved it for different reasons. But I liked it because it really like showed how much Houtarou developed as a character, while not putting the spotlight on Houtarou, which is genius. And that's the part where Houtarou picks up the pictures that were taken of Chitanda, and he starts to look at him, and he kind of blushes a little bit. And Chitanda's a little happy when she realizes he opened those and looked at him. And I thought that was a cute scene, but it was ingenious because it was all about Chitanda. But really, in the background of all that, it was about Houtarou.
Yeah, and I liked how it was a slice of life, but they still had all these like mini plots throughout it to like drive it forward.
Yeah. There's 3 main arcs in the show. The Hyouka arc, the film arc, and the festival arc.
Now let's just talk about the festival arc in general, how there are all these like subplots within it. Like the cooking competition and
there's a cooking competition, there's Satoshi's like quiz game. There's competition with that one sly guy.
Yeah, there's like the mystery who keeps stealing stuff and why and all that tying together.
Mayaka's manga club drama.
Right, and none of it like felt forced or like overly dramatic. It was just there and felt natural.
Yeah. And I really love the conclusion of that arc because that's where the show gets really, I think, sad and melancholic, where all these characters know people that are better than them at something, and it's just them coming to accept that.
Yeah, and that ties into like Satoshi's for his conclusion to the arc.
Yeah. Satoshi's a very sad character to watch, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's like he's such like a happy-go-lucky character most of the time, it seems. But then you see like he takes pride in some of the things, but he just like gives up on like being someone special.
Yeah.
To me, he is the most human of the characters in the anime.
I would agree.
I think Houtarou is probably the most relatable, just for the whole simple fact that
energy
many
conservation.
people that are into anime, they're kind of the loners in a lot of ways, and you know, they want to be off in their own world, do their own thing.
Yeah,
Satoshi is the guy who's striving to be more, but he can't.
Yeah,
and he knows it, so he falls into this category of like have-nots that is kind of painful to look at, but it's so human, and that's such a relatable thing. Even if you're not in Japan, it's
just a human feeling wanting to be good at something but not being good.
Yeah,
at it.
like with the festival arc with Satoshi trying to figure out what was going on and then failing is like I kind of wanted him to have a moment where he could like have a big win, but it didn't come. So that's kind of the point.
Yeah, so like Satoshi's competing with Houtarou that whole arc. Like you really see him trying to get the mystery done, but
right.
And then watching him realize his failure, and then Mayaka comfort him was a really impactful scene, I thought.
Yeah.
I have a question. Specifically, it's not really for me, I guess. It was something I saw mentioned on Twitter from one of my followers, person of Muni. He or she was talking about how the first 5 or so, they gave it a first 5 episode watch, and they ended up dropping it, and that happens to be the Hyouka arc. Do you guys think that's a good introduction to the show to pace it that way? That there's it's if someone doesn't like those first 5 episodes or that first arc, and is there a reason for them to continue on? Will they continue to like it, even though maybe they didn't like the first arc?
I would say the Hyouka arc is very representative of the show, because it's about their misconceptions about Jun Sekitani and finding out about the true nature of the situation, which all the arcs kind of follow that same trend. Even the random episodes all follow this same trend because it's just a mystery show.
Yeah, it's like trying to clear up the misconceptions or the conclusions that they would jump to right away.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the Hyouka arc was probably the weakest of the big arcs, but it's still kind of like a foundational to establish the characters and the dynamics.
Yeah, I agree. But I think it has my favorite
opinion,
ending scene, where they reveal what Hyouka means. I thought it was very chilling when I
yes,
first saw it.
that's a really good scene. To answer the question that person asked, I would say, if you don't enjoy it after the first 5 episodes, you probably will not enjoy it afterwards.
I agree.
But that being said,
why didn't you enjoy it?
there are things afterwards that it still may be worth watching, even if you don't enjoy it.
Yeah, well,
just small things, really, that may add up and may make it worth it. I'm not saying to go back and watch it, or just if you didn't like it, give it another shot and watch more of it. But maybe read up about it, and maybe even read the books or something like that. It's definitely an experience.
Yeah, there's some great character moments in that pay off. I would agree.
Yeah.
The show is about the mundane. That's really what it's
very
about.
Much is.
Yeah, and it's not, because of that, it's not a show that I really like, not as much as Abe or C. And I could say at the first few episodes, I just didn't really care for it. And by the end, I'd say, yeah, it was pretty good. So maybe keep going, though it's hard for me to really recommend it if you don't like it right away, because there are other shows I'd recommend more.
Yeah, Rise, I want to ask you, would you have dropped it probably had it not been for this podcast?
Oh, probably because a 25 episode slice of life that I don't care for much right away. I just say, it's okay. I'll pass on it though.
Okay.
But yeah, in the end, I do like it, just not all that much, if that makes sense.
Okay. But see, you came to like it more, I guess, over the course of the series.
Yeah, with the film arc and the festival arc, those were both really interesting, and then some of the character dynamics later on.
I think the big faults this series has, and I think it's a legitimate issue actually with the show, is that in the first arc, some of the characters come off as unimportant and almost annoying. Like Chitanda, for example. I did not like Chitanda when I started to really get into this. I
would agree.
Feel like she was important. I just have to know things.
She just
that first initial
She's
scene
annoying.
Yeah, she just came off as annoying. She was shoved into the camera's face.
She was constantly pulling Houtarou.
Yeah, and it just felt... I just didn't like her.
Yeah, it's if I was Houtarou, I was rooting for Houtarou, just push her aside, go home, ignore all that. Why deal with this type of person?
That's why he dropped it.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
And I think it's a problem with every character that isn't Houtarou. I think Mayaka and Satoshi both... I don't think Mayaka or Satoshi was annoying or anything, but I do think that they felt a little unimportant. They felt a little samey.
They felt forced into the story. It seemed like I could not.
Yeah, they felt like they were there for utility.
Yeah, it's they. Yeah, I didn't see what they were adding to the story as a whole. Is we need random people. Let's throw them in.
Yeah, I'll kind of agree, but I think that it's kind of important that they did it that way, because learning why Chitanda is so curious and why she's so energetic is important in the episode 10 where the film arc concludes, and at the end of the show where you learn more about Chitanda, and then over the course, and Satoshi feeling unimportant, it's very important to learning more about him over the course of the series.
Yeah,
I also agree with that statement.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Like, by the end, I did like them. They were interesting characters, but it still felt like the ending, they could have done more to make us more interested in those characters at the start, as opposed to just finding them annoying and pointless.
How I describe this series, honestly, in the beginning, is when you first, like, you've started to work out for like a month now, and now you've gotten past that thing where it's like, oh, well, you're used to it, but you got to keep doing it so your brain can just get more used to it and understand that working out is not that hard. That's what those first 5 episodes feel like, and it is such a weird experience to go back and watch those first episodes, because it's like, I totally get where this is going now. I get why this is done this way. It all makes sense, but in the beginning, it's tough. I mean, it really is. It's tough.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of shows that are like focused more on the bigger picture are okay with having a somewhat weaker start to like get everything established, instead of trying to make something really exciting at the start and then falling apart.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've just noticed that with a lot of anime I've seen recently. It's like the shows I'm really excited for after one episode, I tend to not like.
I agree. Like a show like, I think, a different show would be like Fate Zero, that I think builds its first season that's entirely meant for the payoff of the second season.
Yeah, and like with both Fates, like the initial episodes and even the first season is like, okay, kind of okay, but then the second season you're hooked and you love it all.
Yeah, the first season is just like this visual spectacle, but then the second season is actually truly something substantial.
Yeah, I was like that with Fate Apocrypha too. I was like, first couple episodes, okay, not bad, some cool characters, and then it was dragging for a while, and like in the second core, it's like, okay, I'm really excited, I love everything that's going on.
So, there's something I really want to talk about, and I actually want to get Condi's opinion on this, because Condi...
Yes, hello.
Hi, Condi.
I exist, wow.
Why'd you jump in, Condi?
Hey,
what do you think about... What do you think about the opening endings for this anime?
Yes,
would you look at that? Something I actually am very invested in. I love myself some opening and endings.
I agree.
Personally, I thought that both the openings were great. Second one was definitely way better.
Oh, what?
I like the second one better. I just feel like it's so much deeper. I love how it's just, like it's
him on the
Houtarou,
outside,
and he's out on the outside looking in basically, and it really just sells home the whole gray life, the energy conversation, not wanting to be a part of anything. You know, it just really kind of shows his position in the world, I guess, from his viewpoint. The second ending, I don't know. It's a fun one, obviously, but there's not much there's nothing to analyze there. It's just so fun.
I think there's a lot to analyze with it, actually.
I actually forgot what the first opening was. So.
Yeah, honestly, I completely forget the first.
No, see, for me, it's the first opening, because the first opening is the very grayscale. It starts grayscale, and then you have those ripples that are...
and yeah, it has the ripples that make everything colorful and stuff as it goes on.
Yeah,
and I do like that as well,
because we're colorful, and you can see there's just there's so many cool effects, because you can see all the other characters. They kind of insert them into shadows throughout the OP.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the first opening.
So the thing I like about the second one, though, is probably one of my favorite.
Oh yeah, now I remember
the second ending.
Yeah, the second ending.
Sorry, one of my favorite endings in anime. The one thing I like about it, you said there's not much to analyze about it, but it's there is.
I would disagree.
I mean, there is. Yes,
I would agree with
Satoshi and Houtarou are prisoners of love.
Oh, that's cute. I didn't actually connect to that part.
Well, yeah, I would also I would make a different argument that they're both mysteries that Chitanda's trying to solve Houtarou, and because Chitanda's trying to understand Houtarou over the course of the series, and so is Mayaka with Satoshi.
Yeah, that's true too. So maybe there is something there.
Really good one. Yep. But I like it because it starts off, with the chase, right? And I just love that. I love the whole right. I think right before the chorus hits in the ending song, they start to chase them. Satoshi and Houtarou in a vehicle, and I thought that is just the greatest thing.
And Mayaka's in the sidecar.
I love it. I love it.
It could be like how they're trying to get away and trying not to admit they're in love, but the girls keep chasing them anyway.
Exactly. And
I think that also the guys are trying to stay hidden the whole time. Like, you don't really learn that much about Satoshi until the end. You learn about it because of Mayaka. Going back to the whole mystery thing.
Right. So it's like he's a mystery that we didn't even know he was a mystery.
So yeah, who are your favorite characters?
Yeah, I was about to ask that actually.
I think probably still Houtarou just because of his mindset and then slowly growing out of it.
Yeah, I agree. I think they're all brilliantly written. I love all of them, but I think Houtarou is my favorite for sure. He's also very snarky, and he's fun to watch.
Yeah, he is. He's like Kazuma from Konosuba.
Condi, who's your favorite character?
My favorite, I have to agree with Houtarou, but I also really like Satoshi. Like,
yeah,
he's relatable in the right ways. You know, everybody wants to be good at something, but there's just that acceptance that you need, right? But Houtarou, obviously, as a fellow weeaboo fuckboy, I see myself in him. I spent high school not doing anything with my life, and this anime made me realize I regret that. Fuck.
Yeah, two anime made me realize, made me regret some decisions, mainly this show and real life.
Oh yeah, real life really does that.
Yeah, real life made me go, fuck.
Yeah, I'm the same age as a protagonist in real life, so...
So, my favorite character in this series, it's pretty tough. I mean, I like all of them.
All four of them are
very
well written. Without a doubt.
But the character that comes to my head when I think about my favorite character in Hyouka is Mayaka.
Okay, I see that.
Because she's into the manga club. It's so weird, you wouldn't even expect that from her. And she likes to cosplay, and she's really this really independent woman. I really like that about her.
She's very
and
fiery
I also,
too.
Right, yeah, and I like how I just like how she's designed. I like the way she looks. She looks unique, and Satoshi, he's the guy who looks normal. Chitanda, she's crazy anime 80s metal hairband chick. And you have Houtarou, who is kind of the adult. Houtarou is kind of the adult, right? And Mayaka, she's small. She's a tiny girl. She's really short. Even Chitanda looks like a freak of nature compared to Mayaka. But, I mean, Chitanda looks like freak of nature anyways with that hair.
I wish I had hair like that.
I love, and I like the closure to her, her story in this series. And I don't know if we're doing hardcore insane spoilers or anything, so I'm going to refrain for that. But
I think we can, because I think we've gone fairly in depth. Or what do you guys want to do? Actually, I guess we'll just ask that now.
Well, I guess spoilers. So in I think episode 21. It starts off with a flashback to where I think Satoshi gives Mayaka a piece of chocolate, or gives her a whole chocolate heart, and she just bites into it, which is a really great scene.
Oh.
And the whole episode is really about Satoshi and Mayaka,
yeah,
and their relationship. And in the last episode, after that, and by the way, they don't there's not a huge kiss in the episode or anything. It's kind of It starts. The mystery is, where did Mayaka's chocolate go? And by the end, we find out that Satoshi took the chocolate, broke it in half, put it in his little handbag, and kind of did a cool heel turn in a lot of ways. And it was all because Satoshi felt that he wasn't special and that he didn't deserve a girl like Mayaka. And the next episode, the last episode of the series, they didn't... all that needed to be said. We didn't need a whole scene where they make out or whatever, swap juices. I don't know.
Agree.
You saw them together.
Houtarou just asked Satoshi, "How are you and Mayaka going?"
Yep.
And Satoshi goes, "We're doing fine."
I think it was Mayaka. Yeah,
it was Mayaka.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Satoshi
sounds right
left
now.
for a bit.
Or yeah.
I would know. I watched this literally an hour and a half ago.
And I also like that episode 21, just as a side, I like how Houtarou gets fed up with Satoshi.
Oh, yeah, him grabbing Satoshi
really
is
cool scene.
Awesome. Well, he progressively gets more expressive over the course of the series, and I think it's very well done.
Yeah, there's not like a single episode where you can see he's completely different from this episode as he was before.
Even at the end, he's not completely different.
Yeah, it's super gradual.
Yeah.
Right.
Which I think is very important to the subtle and realistic feeling of the show.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I've seen this has been a subject of controversy, like, about Hyouka. So, people love the arcs, or, like, the having arcs in a slice of life. So, as we mentioned, there's 3 main arcs. But the show ends off with random episodes. Now, how do you guys feel about that? Like, would you prefer to have, like, a last final arc, like a last final arc to send us off? Or do you like how they had, like, these 4 to 5 random episodes?
To me, it felt a lot like, you know how, like, when a band performs live and they have their set, maybe they, like, each set is, like, for example, Pearl Jam, they divide their set up into, like, different sets itself and play, like, this one set we're going to play the classics. This set we're going to do all acoustic. It felt to me a lot like that. It felt like the last 2 episodes were the quote-unquote encore of the show. And I thought that was a really cool way to do it because the arcs were just these massive, spanning, multiple episode stories with many different facets about it and all these small sub-stories playing into one another. I think it's fine the way it ended. I don't see the problem in it at all.
Yeah, I think I prefer their arcs more just because there's more of a story to get into. But still, there is the story of the characters I was going through the final episodes to, like, tie everything up.
Yeah, I agree. I think the arcs are awesome to have, and they kind of give this feeling of payoff, and a slice of life show that. But I
yes,
think
and slice of life needs something like that.
But I like the last 4 episodes are very important to, like, the characters learning about each other, and I wouldn't want them changed.
Right.
How about
Yeah,
you,
especially the last 3. I forget what the 4th and last one is.
Oh, that's the one where...
That's the helicopter one, the mountaineering mystery.
Oh,
basically.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a helicopter one, then there's the guy who stole... or, like, the...
Yeah, the helicoptering, then it was the counterfeit money. Then after that, it was being locked in a shed, then Valentine's Day, and the living dolls.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, so let's touch on that real quick. What did you think of the final episode?
I loved it. I don't know what to say here. I just loved it. I really did.
I thought it was fantastic, and it may not be canon or anything like that, but Abi, the man with the plan, as they say, he linked me, like, this theory on it, and I read it, and I thought it was brilliant because it totally fit and it made sense.
Yeah, we've all read it, by the way.
Yeah.
Have we all read it?
Yeah.
I have.
Right,
I think
so
Connie
did
did.
as well.
I read it. I read it, like, not too long ago. Yeah.
Like 2 minutes ago.
So actually, I'll let Abi explain this. He probably knows way more about this than all of us combined for the ending. So.
Oh, just explain, like, the significance of the ending, you mean?
Yeah, just what happens at the ending.
Yeah, so I think... So, I missed out on this completely, too, my first time. The first time I saw that fake-out ending, and I actually kind of got annoyed at first. But... you notice the very large difference in color palette that occurs throughout the episode. Like, that's very noticeable. But I didn't notice the importance of the bike. And how Chitanda's usually holding the bike, and how usually she's the free-willed, free-spirited person. Whereas in the finale, Houtarou is the one holding the bike. And the color palette of the town where Chitanda is kind of locked into, it's very purple, dark, and almost ominous. Whereas where Houtarou is heading off to with his bike, it's this very beautiful, like, sunset behind the mountains, and it's very pink. And there's a lot more to it, but that'd be a lot to... It ties into the whole series.
It's a lot to talk about.
Yeah, it's just interesting. It's more like Hotarou's kind, like, wanting to take the initiative more now.
Yeah.
And even if he's not completely sure if he wants to, it's like him slowly coming to the realization that he wants to help Chitanda because he wants to, not because she's asking.
Yeah, the fact he even has the thought of offering to help Chitanda is a big change for him.
I think it's and I think it's that episode at the very end, the whole episode really, but mostly the very end, the fake out confession. It's Houtarou basically accepting that, hey, it's all right to live this rosy kind of life. Yeah. I got to do something. Like, I can't be closed off forever. And I thought that was, and it didn't need a confession. It just didn't. It wasn't one of those shows.
It's not. It's
I never expected it.
Right.
It's really, to me, I view the show as a character discovering himself through the discovery of others. That's the best way I can summarize the series. Yeah.
It is a steady growth of the main character by just experiencing life.
Yeah.
It's literally a slice of life. And that's I hate those pure slice of life anime, but this one, it had enough going on with it, with the mysteries and stuff like that, to where it was so fun just to see that progression of Houtarou the character, and kind of for Chitanda, Mayaka, and Satoshi as well, but definitely the most part, Houtarou, like, he's the star of the series. Like, he changes completely, and that last episode, like, it's special. It's a special episode.
Yeah, it's a slice of life that wasn't boring, so I think it's good.
That's a big thing to achieve for Rising.
Yeah, if you don't know, like, a slice of life needs something, otherwise I think it's boring, and yeah, most of them I don't like, but this one I did somehow, so good show.
What do you guys think about the music?
Oh, that one cello piece I love. That you guys might remember. But the whole soundtrack's beautiful.
Yeah, the main theme of this show is great. I also like, I guess the sound effects for it as well, but the sound effect that plays when Chitanda goes, "I just have to know," and that clang, it gets me every time. What'd you think, Condi? What'd you think about the score?
I'm really bad when it comes to score, but honestly, like, from what I never pay attention to it, which is kind of funny, because
that means it's good.
Yeah, exactly. But the fact of the matter is it accomplished what it set out to do, right? Like, it didn't feel like it was out of place. It was perfect for every situation that it showed up. And if I'm not noticing anything really shitty about it, then, that's good enough for me.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything that sticks out to me after watching, like, 2 weeks ago. But I do remember, like, being more emotional or able to heighten the emotions it needed to.
One of my favorite, just the Hyouka arc has really good score.
Yeah.
Especially when each episode Houtarou does his weird thing where he explains the mystery to the audience, and the graphics go super crazy CGI, awesome sauce. Yeah, and I loved that arc. If there is one thing to take away from that arc, the scoring is phenomenal. It had me. If the score wasn't in this anime, if it wasn't in the first arc, if whoever did the score for this, I don't know the name. I
actually don't know either.
I've forgotten the name. Actually, I used to, I did some research before this, but if it was any other score, and any other person doing the score, it wouldn't have worked. This series, it needed the score it had, and it was perfect. It's almost, they're two different kind of scoring styles, kinda, but it's the same approach. If anyone's ever played The Last of Us, it's very, very similar in how they go and tackle the certain story beats and certain story elements. There's a lot of I immediately made that comparison. I was like, and they're going to do the score here, just like how they did in The Last of Us.
I want to play that game.
That's
my favorite game of all time.
Super good. Yeah.
What system is it for?
PS3, PS4.
Yeah.
Okay, I need to get PS4 then.
But like some of you may know, but I used to be a music major, and I write my own music.
Yep, he's the best musician ever in the podcast.
Not really. Just kind of explaining my background on this. So
he's the best in the podcast.
That's probably true.
I would hope so.
So when I listen to the scores of these animes and I watch the anime, there's not a lot of scores that I see or I hear rather, and I go, that's a bad score. You can't really have a bad score. In my opinion, you can have some bad songs, but this anime went above and beyond with this. It was just, it needed to be in the places it needed to be. It needed to be silent when it needed to be silent. It was just, it's almost like the scoring for this was almost biblical. Even I would say that it was. I can't gush enough about the score. I love it. Okay.
So I think we should touch on this as we're going on. What did you not like about the series? Any specific complaints that any of you had that you noticed while you were watching? Or
probably the beginning and just the annoying characters, or especially like Chitanda.
Okay.
Because that was like the hardest thing for me to get interested, especially when it's like, why should I care about a slice of life?
How about you,
I didn't like the OVA. All right, let's go.
Yeah,
that's not really. That doesn't really count. That was made after the series.
Doesn't it though? I don't know.
OVAs are good.
At the beginning, I found myself almost kind of getting bored, especially during the Hyouka arc, because it just felt slow sometimes. And yeah, again, Chitanda kind of being a bit annoying at points, but it kind of grows on you. Besides that, though, after I kind of got used to everything, mind you, I'm not much for slice of life either. I'm like Rising. I've never really watched this shit, but I loved it. After it grows on to you, you're like, I'm invested now.
Well, it's like with KyoAni, I didn't like the first season at all, but then I watched the second season and liked it from the start. So it's like I got used to the characters and therefore I liked it more.
Yeah, I think that's important. I think being invested in the characters is very important.
Yeah, that's the key for any story. Yeah, slice of life really has no story to be interested in, or at least very little, so you need to get attached to the characters.
There's not a lot that I can say the series did that was truly terrible. Because there's just nothing that I can think of. KyoAni does CGI really well, but if there's one thing that I didn't like, and this is a huge nitpick, so I'm just trying to find anything to pick at right now, because it's really hard. But the CGI cars, they do CGI cars for the most part really well, and this series came out in 2012, so it made sense for them to look as bad as they did, but man, some of that CGI on those cars, what were you thinking? I mean, it wasn't Inuyashiki bad, right? But
yeah, Hyouka's better than Inuyashiki.
Well, Hyouka is way better than Inuyashiki.
There you go, she agrees with me.
But you're comparing a slice of life to an action supernatural anime.
Well, I think Hotarou's like intelligence verges on like
that.
OP.
Yes, that is it almost fourth wall breaking at times. You're like, how? Like, yeah, but I think the way he explains it, the way Houtarou explains things, I think that's a big positive.
Yeah, because
the mysteries are explained well.
You see how he can come to the conclusions he did by putting everything together.
He does have all the clues, and he just kind of just changes his perspective a little bit, just how he views the events.
Right.
What? Oh, there was something I was gonna say. Oh, and I totally freaking forgot it. That I didn't like about it. Yeah. But keep going. I'll maybe remember.
Well, something else that I did like that we haven't really focused on is just how the mysteries were done. Especially, it was like the film arc was the best example, but I think a lot of them were good because they leave you all the clues so you could solve it, and then it's like, or they slowly start getting closer to the answer, and you want to see, can you get or figure it out before Houtarou puts it all together.
Yes.
And I like that. I think that's very important in mystery. Well, mystery as a genre, just in general. Like, I think it's important that they should give you all the clues that you could solve it on your own without everybody explaining it to you in the show or the book or whatever it may be.
They talk about that in the show too. They mention it straight out.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's a very important aspect, and I appreciate that. They don't hold your hand completely. It's like, hey, here's all the stuff you need to figure this out. So figure it out if you can. Otherwise, we'll just tell you.
If you look during the festival arc, if you look at a lot of the scenes, you see Tanabe there, who is the culprit. And
exactly. Yeah,
you don't think about it the first time, obviously.
Yeah. So now I kind of want to rewatch it just to see how much I would notice for some of the mysteries.
Oh, I'm sure you'd notice a lot more on a second watch through.
Yeah, I did.
Than on your first one.
But that would require watching it in a slice of life a second time.
Well, I didn't remember I was going to say bad about it. I can't for the life of me remember it right now. But what did you guys think about the dub?
Oh. Yeah,
Sorry, Ryzen, go on.
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought it was really good overall. Just they were able to capture the characters' personalities well.
I thought it was perfectly casted. I haven't seen an
Me too.
anime like secondary characters, side characters that only say one line. Perfect. Like Funimation killed it.
Yeah, there's never a character where I thought this voice seems out of place for here.
And I think Hotarou's voice actor is really, really good.
Oh yeah, that was really so good. I watched the first 4 episodes twice because I fell behind everybody else when they were watching it together. First time I went through, I went in subs. Second time dubs, and honestly, I could say you'll get the same experience no matter which way you go. Like,
yeah, I think there's some Japanese puns and stuff that are in the subs that you'd lose going to the dub, but I think that's pretty minor.
But I mean, yeah, that's minor. Like, as far as the voice acting quality goes, like, they did a magnificent job. Absolutely wonderful.
I could not think of a way for them to do it better.
I would agree. Funimation doesn't always do the best job, but for this one, they really did.
Yeah, this was one of their quality dubs, though.
This is probably one of their better dubs. Like, this is right up there with Dragon Maid, which, speaking of, Sarah Weidenhef is in this anime as like a generic side character. Kind of looks like Toru, and she also plays Toru in Dragon Maid. And I immediately saw that, and I was like, that's Toru!
Yeah, he called her Toru for the whole series.
Yeah, it's Toru. Like, she's Toru.
Yeah, I'm bad with character names, so I'll just go with Toru as well.
If there's a complaint I have about the dub, and I said it throughout pretty much the whole time we were watching it, no one talks the way Chitanda does. That whole breathy, airy thing.
Yeah, that's in the sub too.
Never met a person
from what I saw
like that.
The sub. Maybe Kandi can speak to that.
Wait, so like the whole
Chitanda's airy speech.
Yeah.
Was that in the sub?
I don't think it was. Like, it was definitely... She definitely had, like... I don't know. She was more, not articulate. What's the word? Can't remember the word right now, but I don't think she had, like, that same voice exactly. The same, like, manner of speaking, and, you know... It was different in that sense, and that's, like, one thing I'm pretty sure I noticed. It's been a hot second since I watched this sub, so I might be completely wrong, but, you know...
And I guess it's really, I guess it's not really a complaint. It's not something that you will watch it and go, wow, this is taking away from the experience. Well, if you hate dubs, it will be. You'll probably try to find any way to hate a dub if you hate dubs. But, but if you're going in with an open-minded, you're giving the show a fair shot, and you know you're being cool about it. It's not going to be a huge problem. Dub though, still. It's one of the best Funimation dubs. I wouldn't say the best, but it's up there.
I would agree. I would say it's up there. Now, so we talked about how there's a lot of random mysteries that are scattered throughout the series, especially at the end. Were there any that particularly stood out to you guys?
Ask that again, please?
Were there any particular standalone mysteries, like one-off episodes that stood out to you guys? Like, for me, I would say the counterfeit money one was awesome.
Yeah, that's the one I was going to bring up, too. I really enjoyed that one. I'm not sure I can say why. I just found myself invested in it. I was like, this is interesting.
Yeah, because they spent 20 minutes in this room off this 2-line announcement, building up this whole thing out of it. It's brilliant.
I think that's exactly why it's so interesting, because it's all revolves around this 2-line announcement. Very little information has been given, and it's just goes from there, and it's very, I don't know, it's just a very good mystery, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's like their mysteries are more layered. It's not like there's a simple thing you have to go solve. It's more like there's more to it than that. It's like I'm trying to like piece together what this could be, not even trying to get the exact truth, but just going, what can you piece together?
I'm a big fan of that one too, but to just say something different, I like the second to last episode. I like the whole who did the chocolates thing. I thought at first I did not think it was going to be Satoshi, but by the end I was like, of course it's Satoshi. And it gets slow. I slowly came to realize it during the middle part of the episode when they start to lock up. I guess when they start to lock up the club room and the chocolate is lying there, and I'm like, oh, would Satoshi take that?
Yeah, so I thought that too, but I didn't think the show would do that.
Yeah, it's like I was trying to look for another option, but there were no other options that made sense.
Yeah, and then the show went through everyone. Even went to Toru at one point, and they were like, hey, the chocolate's missing. Do you know anything? And turns out no one knew anything about it. And honestly, it was kind of... That episode was a whole send-off of all the characters we saw, but like Irisu and Toru and...
Well, Irisu gets her send-off in the last one, because she's one of the living dolls.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that, yeah.
But you're right about like the rest of them.
Yeah, that's still a way for them to like tie up as much as they could there, so the last episode didn't need to tie everything up.
Yeah.
Honestly, episode 21, it felt, like the last day of school before summer break.
Right.
That I got that same feeling when I watched that, and I was like, there it is. There's that feeling of school again that I'm sorely lacking now, and it was kind of... it was just really well done, and Hyouka is one of those shows that just it makes me feel things.
I think
weird feelings.
Episode 21 could easily be the best episode of the series.
Oh yeah, I loved it, and like I'm not gonna say that the mystery was great. I figured out that it was Satoshi almost instantly. Like as soon as Satoshi shows up and they're in the library and they're trying to get to come help him with that. You can tell just by the way, like, just Satoshi's mannerisms and how he's avoiding eye contact and, like, how he actually looks at Houtarou when it happens. You can tell that he's guilty of something, like, there's something going on here. And
yeah, like, Houtarou is probably starting to piece that together then, and then trying to figure out what's... The mystery for him wasn't so much who did it, it was like, what should I do now?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I think it's very obvious that Houtarou knew the entire time.
Yeah, he caught on that line when they see that guy just in the poster. Satoshi goes, "It dropped too much." I didn't catch that my first time, but I still thought it was Satoshi. But that line didn't have any significance. But they come back to it at the end of this episode. And Satoshi was like, "That was the one that gave it away."
What do you guys think about in the episode? A facet of this is the handbag that Satoshi has. What do you guys think about Satoshi carrying the different handbags throughout the series?
I actually didn't notice it until it was pointed out.
Conde, did you notice that he carries different handbags in each episode?
I did not.
Me neither.
Yeah.
So, that's nothing I ever noticed.
I really liked that. I really liked that about Satoshi, because he's the kind of guy, because he believes he's not special, that he can't be special no matter what. He has these bags to, I think, in my opinion, to represent the mood he wants to be in, but maybe not the mood that he's in.
Yeah, and then he doesn't draw any attention to it. I mean, like, he doesn't want to draw attention to the fact that he wants to be something more than he is.
I think also one of the articles Abi was talking about with the interviews with the people who made Hyouka, one of them, I think it's the director, brings up this handbag thing, and they talk about it like that. And then they bring up another thing, like, Houtarou would also be one of those characters that would have a phone, and it would be all default. And Satoshi would be the guy who has a different wallpaper for different moods.
Oh, yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
I can't remember what they say about...
Well, they also argued that Houtarou wouldn't even own a cell phone, which I think could make sense.
Well, no, they did that for Chitanda as well. They said that she wouldn't have one either because she's the kind of person who would settle things in person, rather than she has no use for a phone.
Yeah, she's very expressive in person. So why would you take that like hidden expressiveness?
She doesn't see a need for a phone.
I can't remember what they said about Mayaka, but I'm sure it's, in my opinion, Mayaka would fit the whole, like, she would have it all accessoried out and stuff like that.
Yeah, she would.
She'd have, like, anime wallpaper or manga wallpapers.
She seems most in touch with herself throughout the series.
Yeah, she's the most certain of what she
sure.
wants to be.
Yeah.
I mean, she's like, she's trying. She's an aspiring mangaka. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, but it's not like that's all there is to her character either. And I think that makes her more realistic too, is because like she has a personality, but then on top of that, she has her hobbies and dreams and stuff.
There's this episode where it's during the festival, I believe, where she gets an argument with this girl, and this girl's like, a manga is always great, or something like that.
Yeah, it's like
and
depending on
Mayaka,
who's reading it. Like if that's your genre, then you're gonna love that work, and that's the kind of thing you'll love.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought that was
like,
really interesting since we make anime reviews, at least C and I do.
Yeah, I really like that.
And I think she made a valid point.
That scene, and it really showed like who Mayaka was almost instantly to me. Like it almost immediately endeared me even more to Mayaka than I already was, because I was like, wow, like I know who this girl is. Like I've met people like this before. Like she could have fucked off for the rest of the series, and I would have been like, Mayaka is still one of my favorites,
and
just because of that small thing she said. It's so telling.
It's like you see who she really is there. It's not like she was hiding it per se. It's just like something that didn't need to come out until then.
It's almost like in a way, it's almost like if you're a Coke or Pepsi guy, right? You can almost tell who that person is if they're a Coke or a Pepsi guy.
So what do you think I am out of those two?
I think you're a Pepsi guy, to be honest.
Same.
Nope.
What?
You're
you seem
wrong,
like such a Pepsi guy.
I like Coke better.
Wow, that's crazy.
Okay, wait, what am I then?
I think Conti's
you're Coke.
A Coke.
You're Coke.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, how about me?
You seem like a Coke.
Yeah.
No. I think he's Pepsi. I have to disagree.
I'm a Coke.
I'm sad now.
See, you seem like a Pepsi guy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel Pepsi coming off of you.
You're both right and wrong. I like both.
Yeah, see,
You're one of those people?
I like both, but I drink Coke more than Pepsi.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm okay with both, but I prefer Coke, so. Alright, so we determined that rule doesn't work at all then.
Let's see, what else? What questions? Do I have any more questions I want to ask you guys?
I think one question I'll ask real quick is, in reference to other KyoAni works you've seen, how does this rank up?
Oh, this is my favorite one. This is my favorite TV show KyoAni's ever done.
I think this would probably be like my second favorite series, behind Haruhi. So, yeah, Haruhi is like more hit or miss, while Hyouka is more consistent.
How about you, Conti?
That's a hard one.
You haven't had much time
mostly
to think about it,
because, like, I was looking at it the other day, and I think I was talking to C about this, but I haven't watched a lot of KyoAni.
What have you seen?
Besides Kobayashi and Nichijou?
Okay.
That's the only other stuff I've seen.
We've seen A Silent Voice also?
Oh yeah, I guess
So
Silent
that's a
Voice
movie,
exists, but I don't count movies.
Yeah.
I mean, it's in my top 3.
High praise from Conti.
Very high
Conti,
praise.
it's in my top
High
3.
praise.
Again, I don't like most Kyoto anime shows I've seen, so.
Yeah,
It's weird, because I really enjoyed Nichijou. Just because, I don't know, I like the more comedy style, comedy slice of life, I guess, you know? But Hyouka was just, I don't know, man, I don't know. I only watched this 2 hours ago, man. I need to settle down.
I think Kaji needs to drink more.
Yeah,
right. 1 second, let me bust out my other bottle of rum.
What have I done?
You already pounded the first one. Yeah, I would say this is my favorite, and I've seen Sound Euphonium and Kobayashi. And I might be forgetting 1 or 2 others, but yeah, while I think Sound Euphonium Season 2 is brilliant, this is still my favorite.
So I need to watch Sound Euphonium eventually.
Yeah, I'd recommend
Sound Euphonium, you could make a lot of comparisons to Sound Euphonium and Hyouka.
I think these shows are very,
now
very
that I
similar.
think about it. They're both stylistically very similar.
Yes.
Their setting is similar.
Aren't they both like realistic slice of lives too?
Yeah.
They're both
This is
very
mystery, that one's
hyper
bad.
realistic.
Yeah, but they still try to play everything as realistic as they can.
Very much so.
Oh man!
So I would argue that there's a big difference with Hyouka being very, very subtle, almost to a fault, you could argue, but
Yeah.
Sound Euphonium is a lot more melodramatic.
And I think the melodrama might help me more because there's like more of a story to latch on to care about everything else. It's like with Hyouka, like all these like small aspects that you don't notice is like I think they're interesting, but they don't really improve my opinion on the show as a whole because I wasn't all that invested to begin with.
That makes sense.
I forgot, honestly, how much I love Sound Euphonium. It may be a tie between Hyouka and Sound Euphonium.
Season 2, you mean? Or Season 1 also?
The whole series altogether.
Yeah.
Season 2 especially, but...
Sound Euphonium is a brilliant series.
Brilliant. Absolutely. It's another one of those. It's about people. And it's
very human characters.
It's awesome. Yeah. KyoAni
is just perfect.
No. Amagi Brilliant Park, sir. Amagi Brilliant Park.
Best anime ever.
But they've had enough like 10 out of 10s or near 10 out of 10s in my opinion.
Clanad, sir.
That was over 10 years ago.
Clanad Season 1.
That was over 10 years ago.
Story. What? No.
Yeah, Clanad Season 1 wasn't
it? Was that 2007? It wasn't 2006 because I would have reviewed it. Or done my massive top list thing.
Also, KyoAni, not a perfect series. Violet Evergarden is not perfect either. And that's visually freaking incredible.
It's visually incredible, but it's fucking boring. It's all I'm going to say.
Okay, so now that we've concluded the part of the podcast, let's bash Violet Evergarden some more.
Wait, can I talk about Free? Can we tell... I just want to say how wonderful Free is. I really like watching my naked swimming boys.
I forgot that Free might be the greatest KyoAni work. Step aside of Silent Voice.
Actually, Free.
Silent Voice.
I think I like Free about as much as I like Hyouka. Maybe
honestly,
more.
Yeah.
Actually, more.
You've seen Free, Condi?
Yes. I'm gonna say yes, just for the sake of the...
I've only seen season 1 of it, and I want to watch the rest. I should do that now. Okay, bye, good night. I'm going to go watch Free.
Well,
not really.
We lost Rising.
That'd be fun. I should do that when the podcast just like quit in the middle of it to go watch something.
That'd be terrible.
Well, you're watching Recreator, so maybe you should do that.
I still can't remember that thing I had to say negatively about Hyouka. But, fudge.
Yeah, fudge is good.
Anything else? Any closing
we forgot
thoughts?
something very important.
Well, I have one thing, but you guys say what was first. Rising?
Whiskey chocolates.
Oh,
whiskey chocolates.
Shit, yeah.
Yes! Dude, the best scene of the anime. Okay. So there's this mystery. They're solving a mystery. Someone brings in a box of chocolates and puts it on the table. And they open it. They open it to like display the chocolates so they can, you can pick up a chocolate and eat it. And Chitanda, they're whiskey chocolates, which you don't know it's whiskey and chocolate.
And you can see them react to having the whiskey like pour down, and they'll like gag a little bit.
Yes. So yeah, they're all 14, and they
16 actually 16 I think.
Okay, 16.
Yeah. 15 or 16.
Same difference.
They're 10th graders.
They're in 10th grade. They're young. They're kids. And Chitanda just keeps eating the chocolates. And she keeps, like, folding the papers, which is a cool thing. Just, like, visually, like, a cool little thing. She keeps folding them and stuff like that. And she keeps eating them. And she starts to hiccup. Her face gets really red. And at the end of this scene, she stands up and goes, I see kaleidoscopes! And she falls back down and passes out.
And then she has a hangover the next day.
Yeah.
I forgot about the hangover. I just love like how you see her like in the background slowly eating, like, wait, is she eating whiskey chocolates? How many has she had? Is she getting drunk?
Then they cut to the box towards the end of the episode. And it's empty.
Yeah. Oh. And she makes the comment like, why did she eat so many? And she's like, I didn't know if I liked them or not, so I thought I'd keep trying to find out.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that
alcoholic
episode.
Confirmed.
And now she wants me to send him whiskey chocolates.
She's a mega lightweight. Those whiskey chocolates had to have like no alcohol, basically no alcohol.
Well, she's like
in them
16
at all, right?
and she's a twig.
That's true.
So
and she's Chitanda, so.
And she's Chitanda, yeah.
Yeah, so you should go contribute to C's Patreon so he can afford to buy himself whiskey chocolates.
I mean, I can already buy them, so.
I'm trying to help you here.
Money. I don't
Just
need
take
my
the
people
money.
to donate.
See.
I don't need the money.
Yeah, take the
gotta
whiskey
pay
chocolates
for
from your
it.
fans.
Yes, fans.
Yeah, but you lost
There
all
is
your
a
YouTube
tier.
money, see?
There's a whiskey chocolates tier on my Patreon in which you can give me $25 and I'll buy a case of whiskey chocolates.
And record yourself eating them.
And I will record myself eating them.
I can't.
And
Will it be a
going,
face
wow.
reveal then?
Oh!
These are... No, I can't. I forgot.
Well,
I
no,
can't
do what they
face
do with
reveals.
Tomoe. And, just, cut off from, the bottom of your face.
Yes. That'll be perfect.
Or wear a mask. Wear the wrestling mask.
You guys know the wrestler Kane?
I've heard of him.
No,
I'll wear his mask. If
Okay.
anyone...
I don't
So,
know what
like,
it is,
a
but
good-
just
like
do
a-
that.
Basically, the mask he wears is a demon. So...
Okay, yep. If you have that tier, I might actually do that.
So, do you have any thoughts, Condi, that you wanted to... Any final thoughts?
Hyouka, good show. Make heart go doki doki. Goodbye.
Well, that's probably because all... What?
Wait, he left?
Don't worry.
Oh,
He'll be back.
God.
He'll be back.
Will he be back though?
I don't know.
Nope.
I wouldn't be
Nope.
surprised.
Nope. He didn't leave the server.
Okay, there he
He's
is.
back.
Yeah, I had to wait for dramatic tension.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was wondering. I kind of doubted you.
We should have just had a really pregnant pause, just not talk until Condi came back.
Nobody talks for the entire time.
Or we just all leave.
Everybody just leaves.
Yeah, Condi
Podcast
comes
over.
back and was like, "What, guys?"
So
So, add it. Oh, what were we gonna say, Steve?
well, I was gonna segue into your closing thing.
Okay,
that
yeah.
You wanted to talk about.
Sorry, one other thing.
Yeah.
I kind of want to end this podcast by hitting the microphone with my head.
Oh
That's
yes! Oh my god, dude! Yes! Thank you for bringing that up. Okay.
See, this is why I take
the
notes.
episode. Maybe it's the episode before the last of the
Festival.
festival.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like one or two before it.
She goes to there's like a school, like almost kind of like a radio thing going on, and she goes into like the booth, and she's doing this to get people to go to their club room to sell these books, to sell the anthology of Hyouka or whatever it is, and
Hyouka.
well, it's everything that has an A. It's a hard ER.
Hyouka. For those, I right next from
Hyouka.
Tennessee.
So to lead, so he does the radio thing at the beginning, and he leads her into it, and she's like, "I think we got Chitanda here. Hello, Chitanda. How's Chitanda going today?" She's like, "First time caller, long time listener." But no, she doesn't do that. But she immediately bows down, and as soon as she bows, she headbutts the microphone, and that's the end of the episode. And I
Oh, yeah.
loved it.
Oh, well, I forgot this. Now that you mentioned that, Chitanda trying to manipulate people was really, really good.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
And Eru seems very clear then. She's like, "I don't know if you're cut out for this."
It's like she's trying to that's kind of even in the end with the business, how she's trying to force herself into doing something that she's just not made for.
Yeah, Chitanda
I think
revealing
at one
herself. Very
point-
sad.
Also, speaking of maid, at one point she dresses up as a maid.
For half a frame.
I forget why, but I do remember that happening.
Yeah, there's she's doing that picture shoot where she's like a penguin and a cheerleader and a maid.
Oh right, okay,
That was a funny scene.
yeah,
When Chitanda just getting preoccupied with all these clubs she's walking through.
right. She's
Chitanda
trying.
really is just the best.
Yeah, Chitanda is best waifu. That or Houtarou.
So I guess it's a good time to ask. Out of 10, what do you guys give it?
I think I'm being really generous with this one, but I give it a 0.
Wow! Oh my god! You're being generous.
After 0 complaints you had, or very
On
barely.
opposite day. But
Oh
seriously, I'd give it probably an 8.5.
Okay. Rising?
I will give it a 6.872315.
So not just a 6.8. More than that.
I forget what number I said, but sure, go with that.
Let's go ahead and say he just gave it a 7. So pretty good.
Yeah, okay, I'll give it a low 7.
How about you, see? If you can come up with a score yet.
At the time of this recording, I have not come up with a review score.
Okay.
I will... But by the time you're seeing this podcast, I have a review out for it. It's very long.
Yes, watch that.
You should probably go watch it.
I might actually make a video about Hyouka if I have time, which I probably won't.
I should have a video out around the same time as well. Maybe 2 videos.
I'll say this. I recommend it over every single anime ever made. I recommend it over Violet Evergarden, over... I don't know, what's some
King's
other
Game.
Overrated... I recommend it over the most overrated anime of all time, King's Game.
Okay, I don't know what you're talking about. King's Game is a fucking masterpiece.
I hate
You'll
you.
find out next month on my podcast.
Before I say my score, I want to say, fuck you, Kanye. I gave us
about?
Hyouka, and you give King's Game.
And I reciprocated with an amazing anime. What do you want from me?
King's Game is amazing.
I want you to kill yourself.
I've considered it since we started watching it, so
I mean... we should probably mention also the voting thing.
Oh, yeah,
right?
So I guess I'll say my score. I give it a 10. It might be my favorite show of all time. Which, it's a fluid ranking, but it's definitely top 5. I think it's number 1 in terms of shows. KyoAni has my favorite anime movie and anime show, which is not surprising. And you can go into that, see? As I know nothing about that.
So the voting system. So we have this cool thing. And either go to any one of the Nomad podcasts that are out right now.
Which is just This One Can Seize.
Yes, but if you're watching this in the future and you know, we're at the deadline, then there's the Keijo video, there's the King's Game video, looking up at the half moon, and the one you're watching now. You can put in the comments which anime you want us to watch. Whichever one gets the most votes, that one will be the one we pick. Also, it's worth noting that your votes do count. So, like, if you vote for the same anime in one video, if you comment again in the next video, that does count. So that counts as you have up to possible 4 votes. Right. Pretty much. So, it's, pretty smart, right? Pretty cool, C-Tactics. Pretty cool way of thinking that up.
So smart. Way to encourage engagement, my guy.
Yeah.
Wow.
On everyone's video.
So if you want to see us watch a terrible anime, go put that in the comments, and
if you don't want to see us watch a terrible anime, don't worry. I'm already on that King's Game, dude.
Yes. So far, we've got some pretty cool recommendations, though.
If you can come up with an anime worse than King's Game, I'll be impressed. But I'm also really scared of saying that.
Yeah.
I'll say this: what I would say to recommend wouldn't be necessarily bad anime, but anime that is maybe more diamond in the rough, something we don't even know about. That's the kind of anime, because we did that with Looking Up at the Half Moon. We did it now with Hyouka.
Yeah, Hyouka's obscure for some reason.
Yeah,
that's
a whole
issues.
story.
Keijo, everyone knows about.
Yeah, everyone knows about Keijo and King's Game. Fuck King's Game. Those lead to the best videos. So just saying that now. Don't go like, what, citrus? We're not going to enjoy the video. We're not going to enjoy making the podcast. We're probably just going to shit on it for 20 minutes. And then
I'm excited to watch Citrus.
Like, you literally just wasted all of our time. So don't just go in
Citrus.
voting for shit anime. Don't be... One thing, we're not watching hentai. So don't recommend
Boku no
hentai.
Pico.
It's no Boku no Pico. Or Bible Black, the greatest anime ever made.
Yeah, we've already seen it, so there's no point to us watching it again.
Yeah, I've watched that at
Just
least 15 times.
Don't be a mega troll. That's what I'm saying. Don't be a mega fucking troll. Don't recommend Citrus. Just because it's a joke.
I don't classify Citrus with those. I disagree, but carry on.
Citrus is terrible. What are you talking about? Don't be a troll. That's what I'm saying. Don't recommend us bad anime that we will not enjoy.
You should recommend us Twin Tails.
I would just like to point out the irony, though, that that's literally what I did.
Yes, but you're part of the podcast, so you're allowed to do it.
Yeah, you're right. Okay.
Yes. It is literally, it's totally different. Totally different.
But
See,
just
why do
as
you like
painful.
Kanye to the podcast?
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I think we all thought King's Game was going to be so bad it's good.
Yeah, we thought we were going to laugh and have a fun time.
But it's just bad.
I'm going in. I was under the impression that it would be like so bad it's good, like The Room.
But
like,
has that changed, Condi?
Like, I mean, I think there's some points where it's just like, this is so stupid.
We'll say that for the Keys Game podcast.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so, and then Abby will wrap us up today. Ever how you wrap up podcasts?
Yeah, I don't know.
Plugs.
So I'll say subscribe to each of us. Like this video, please.
Yes.
Subscribe to my channel.
Everyone,
for more
where can they find you? One by one.
KyoAni content.
In a row.
And yes, Condi first.
Wait, what's going on?
Tell us where we can find you.
Well, if you're ever in Canada in a little town called...
Don't tell people where you live.
Well, I basically just said, but yeah, youtube.com/c/condafiction. You're gonna have to figure out how to spell that yourself, because I don't know.
It's pretty easy.
I will link it.
It's Condi Fiction.
Yeah, okay, 1 second, let me attempt to spell it. CONDIFICATION. It's how...
I think you spelled it wrong.
Condification?
That is a very popular spelling of my name. I don't understand.
Condification.
Yes.
that is amazing. Condification.
I'm
not
put
even...
his name like that in the description.
Okay, I'll do that.
I'm gonna be completely honest. Everybody, so many people, somehow put an A in my name. I don't get it.
What's up, Condification? I don't know who that is. It's Condifiction.
Who the heck is Condification?
Sounds like I have River Tactics as my alternate personality.
You mean Lake
Yours
Strategy?
could be Condification.
I thought it was land strategy.
Well, I have multiple alternate personalities. I also have the Sea Tactics.
Subscribe to Lake Strategy.
Another one.
He's great.
Also, Lando Letterman.
Yeah, that
And Sea
too.
Tactics second channel.
Rising?
Yes, where can they find you, Condi?
Wait, did I just say it? youtube.com/c/condifiction?
Good.
Yeah, go with that.
And also
well,
twitch.tv/condifiction?
You can find me in all those fan fictions that people write about me and my sister for whatever reason. You can also sometimes find me in the middle of a forest in a black hole. Or you can find me on YouTube at YouTube/Rising Sun Review or Reviews. I don't know. Just follow the link.
Yes, I'll make sure it's there. How about you, C?
Someday you will find me caught beneath the landslide in a champagne supernova in the sky. That's where you can find me.
We're going to get flagged.
You can find me on youtube.com/c/C tactics. You can also do this /C Tactics FTW. That's my old name. You can also find me on the Twitters. It's at C Tactics FTW. Also my old name. Didn't really think about this in the past, did I? You can also find me on VidMe.
No, you can't.
Well, back when this show was released, maybe. I don't know if it
I sometimes do the video game streams to my main channel. I also have a second channel. And I also have a third channel. Third channel is for music, where I upload my musical things. Second channel is my gaming channel, where I'm doing a playthrough of Rise of the Tomb Raider right now, and afterwards we're probably going to do like a small little video series on Deus Ex, and then after that, do Final Fantasy VII. I also have some really bad anime visual novel playthroughs up on there too. On my main channel, though, you can find one as well for Doki Doki Literature Club. It's really good. At least that's what people have told me. My Doki Doki Literature Club is well demanded. A lot of people want me to do a second playthrough of it, so I may do that if the demand is enough. Yeah. Find me there. That's what I do. I also do anime reviews, of course. I had a new Hyouka review come out. It's really long. It's my longest review ever. And check out OV Awful, which is a Patreon-supported video.
And also, there's one other place you can find you, which is the most important one.
Which is that?
This Discord.
You can, you can join this Discord that we're using.
Yes, you can.
To do the podcast through.
It's how I met all these wonderful people.
The next podcast will be on Condi's channel. And then after that, Rising's, and then we'll figure out from there.
Well, actually, the bonus podcast episode will also be on Condi's channel.
Really? Is that a thing?
Yes.
Well,
okay.
When did we decide this? Okay.
I forget why, but we're doing it.
We decided literally when
Hot takes.
you decided to be on the podcast.
Oh, is it because I'm famous? Is that why? Because I'm internet famous? Okay.
We're trying to leech all your new subscribers.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this is like months before you decided to do anime videos, but, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's because you're famous now.
Understandable.
Subscribe for more analysis of shows or characters or honestly whatever I feel like doing at the time. I don't really have a plan for this channel. But
no plans,
on that
no
note,
plans.
Goodbye.
Noise.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Noise.
Okay, stop recording now.
I stopped record too.
It's not letting me stop the recording. No!